Okay, so on this video, which is the part 2 of other modern Peugeot saloon vehicles that are rugged and dependable, like Peugeot 406. So on this part 2, I'll be talking about the transmission mostly. So my focus will be on the transmission type so that I'll be able to help you make their choice. I can also discuss with my client and explain to him. Um, Now between those ones I mentioned in the phase one, with, mention one or two, even Peugeot 407, I talked about it, what it can do, what the purpose it can serve for you, that you enjoy it most better. I will say if you are into automatics or you just prefer automatics, that will be in a car, in any of these cars or modern saloon car that will serve you like a 406. I would say go for 86, E86, and I don't know much about E88, so I will just stop at E86 and 86 automatic transmission. So I would suggest you go for any of these cars, any of these transmissions in Peugeot 508. But it's still, I would still say I don't recommend all Peugeot 508. So there are some that I strongly advise people to stay away from if you really want a dependable car like Peugeot 406. So sure, the trans 86 and E86 are much better when it comes to the AMCs, the AL4, the ZL4 HP20. They are much better. They don't even compare them. I mean, they are just that rugged and durable. I'm not saying by performance they are better than any other one. No, that's not where I'm going. But I'm saying in terms of, like I say, you are looking at a car that will serve you like a 406 in terms of utility, uh, long distance, all those things 406 serves, all those purposes you can serve. I mean, people that use it understand what I'm saying. You see, maybe it may not do because I don't know where you're coming from. Your beliefs about Peugeot 406, because people have all kinds of stuffs in their head concerning Peugeot 406. So the easiest one is go back to Peugeot 504, Peugeot 505. You just let it be a standard in all these things I'm explaining. If you want any modern Peugeot car, a newer Peugeot car that will serve you like a Peugeot 504. Now, I'm not comparing them. I'm not saying, they will be as durable, as rugged, No, I'm saying, how simpler those 504 and 505 are in terms of utility, long distance, and basically these two, utility and long distance, irrespective of the road condition. These two, depend how dependable they are, can also add that, and of course, durability. These four factors. When you add these four, uh, Peugeot 508 will serve you much better if you are really you just can't do without automatic. The 86 automatic is a big improvement on AMCs and earlier automatic gearboxes on Peugeot vehicles. Much better. I mean, the gearbox is so good that, when you go to used parts market where they sell used engines, used automatic gearboxes for Peugeot vehicles, falling used mostly, you see that they don't even bother to bring in those 86, this automatic gearbox I mentioned, 86, E86, even though there are a lot of Peugeot vehicles in Nigeria that are using them now, that have been on them for years. So they are that good that they hardly fail. So in other words, they don't bother to bring them, they don't move market. Unlike these other ones, like the L4, HP4, HP20, AM6, I mean, they actually import or buy the engines. In other words, how do I put this thing? They actually buy the engines that have automatic transmissions to sell, not because of the engine, but because of the gearbox. So of course they also, because they also demand for the engines here, so also make that sell. But the main reason they are buying those things is because there is higher demand on the those automatic gearboxes than the engines. That's why when you go to, you hardly even see the with manual transmissions, even though they actually use them in Europe, and you know, they were scrapped and shipped to anybody interested in buying. But still, when it comes to Nigeria, they hardly buy the one that the engines manual gearboxes are attached, because the demand is not on the manual gearbox. The demand is on the automatic gearbox. So because of that, but for the 86, you find out that even those engines, the THP, the VTI, all those things, no, okay, VTI, they don't have the 86, you know, but all those THP engines that are attached on them, this 86 and E86 are attached on the THP engines. They actually come without the gearbox, because those gearboxes, they don't move market. If you bring them, who is going to buy? They will just stay there and rust in your shop. Of course, there are exceptions where people, maybe once in a while, you could have a case where the gearbox time is behaving. Maybe the person, you know, they kilometer. If you don't two ways about it, you know. So that's the thing. So I highly recommend, if you want a durable one, like I told that my clients, you have to consider 86 automatic gearbox. If that's what you want, if you just know, if you know you just can't do manual, that it has to be 86, no, automatic, then I'll choose that. The reason why I prefer, okay, not prefer to use me to do more along the system roughly the I'm going to post something about. I know I've done something, but I'm going to post prices of the conversion kit for people who are interested, who wants to convert the cooling of their AL4, 4HP20 and AM6, you know, convert it so that it cools much better and prevent it from breaking down easily. Other than that, the 86 doesn't have that issue at all, irrespective of how hard you push the vehicle, and so it's a very good party. Other ways, other cars, you know, all these ones I've done on this video is on Saloon. newer Peugeot saloons, and you could also say slash station wagon or estate. So both of them actually go together. So it could be station wagon, it could be saloon. If you're looking for something like Peugeot 406 saloon or 406 station wagon, I'm talking about standard saloon, so standard station wagon. So if you're looking for something like that, yeah, um, yeah. The 508, because of the transmission, in this case, unless you want manual, hey, the other car, I talked about Peugeot 607, but I'm talking about automatic transmission now. The AT6 will serve you much better than AM6 in Peugeot 607 or AM6 in Peugeot 407. No matter how good the Peugeot 607 will be for long distance, the AT6 will serve you much better. Um, that doesn't mean you should take it for granted and go and pour a wrong oil fluid in it, or you leave it and keep running the ATF on the 86 till it gets so bad that it will damage the transmission. No, the recommended one, they are easily available. Okay, so look at the other newer Peugeot cars that can serve you, that are rugged and dependable, at least like 406, even if they are not, but at least they can serve you like that. But maybe you have hatchbacks. We have Peugeot 307. Yes, the suspension is good. It may not be as good as Peugeot 406. But yeah, it will serve you. Not too expensive to maintain. It's a pure utility car. Yeah, 406 can also serve you as a utility vehicle, but this one is purely designed for utility. Um, yeah, you can use it for long distance. It has saloon, it has station wagon, but it's not really a standard saloon. The saloon version of Peugeot 307 is not a standard. It's um, just a small car, that has a boot, like a saloon car. So likewise, we have 308. Of course, 308 has a version of the saloon. It has a saloon version which is 408. We have various series of 308. No, yeah, various. I think, is it how many? Like three faces now. So it depends on the one. The recent one is in the market. That one, I think it has E86. I think it's E86. Maybe some of them now have E88. So, but quite a number of them have E86. 86 as well, depending, that's if it's T7. But I wouldn't really say they will serve you like a 406 like that. Except maybe, now all this I'm saying is like if you are in Nigeria, unless maybe you are um you, okay, 408, which is also a 308 saloon. That's what it is. Just consider it's a 308 saloon, T7 308 saloon. So that can serve you because it has a what's that, EW10A. The reason why I try not to talk about that T7 in terms of comparing with 406 is the THP. Like I said, there are 508 I tell people to avoid. So it kind of comes in that. So it's not all 307 can serve you well. 408, the ones, I don't know, the ones they sold in Nigeria were mostly with 88, so you have to be very careful. There's automatic gearbox, which is basically AL4, though a slight improvement of AL4, but just an AL, it's basically the same gearbox. So you have to be careful there when it comes to pushing it constantly on the highway with high temperature. Like I said, all these gearboxes, they just don't like heat. So, and the system that controls the cooling is the coolant, the engine cooling system. So as the engine temperature keeps going up, you affects the performance or the function, how the gearbox behaves. So it does affect them over time. So that's why I will still always go back to the 86, which it hardly affects. Of course, there will be an exception. Few cases, people had to rebuild, repair on the place, but like I said, it's much dependable than the others. Yeah, so the other ones, 407 can also serve you like a utility car, but not necessarily a constant long distance vehicle in Nigeria. It can serve you inside the city. You can travel with it every once in a while. Nothing wrong with that. Your suspension can still hold on. But if you want to use it harshly, that it's not as rugged as 406, period. Can feel however you want to feel. It's just not as rugged as 406. Some might tell you, but they've been using theirs for years and it never gave them issues. You don't know, unless maybe you are the type that can't even tell the difference between a car in good condition and one that is not. Yes, because most people, they will tell you their car has no problem, but when you enter the vehicle and move the car, you hear all kinds of noise from every side of the vehicle, not just on the suspension. Horrible sounds of noise coming from every angle. So you see, you had the suspension making all kinds of noise, showing that almost every bushing there, everything has worn out, failed, and yeah, the person to him, there's nothing wrong with the suspension. So that's the only person that can claim the polyfoil suspension doesn't give issue. Otherwise, if you own a polyfoil and you are very attentive, or you are the type that likes keeping suspension in good condition, intact all the time, then you understand what I mean. Yeah, you can use it for travel long distance once in a while, drive on bad Nigerian roads once in a while, or as often as you can, but not to use it ruggedly like Peugeot 406 that can suck up all those bombs and just like 504 and come by. It doesn't mean they won't fail eventually, But it's not a car you keep using and be wondering, when this is it's going to cost me so much to fix, or it means we're going to do the repairs tomorrow or next tomorrow because I want to travel with it today. No, you could travel probably a month after before you even consider suspension repairs. So that's how good they are. So that's why I always go back. So the Peugeot 508 suspension is good. You can even see the ground clearance is almost as high as Peugeot 406. So you can actually navigate the Nigerian bad roads, rough bumps and everything without hitting anything under the vehicle compared to other ones like Peugeot 407 and the rest and some other cars. So that's about it. At least now you have, for people who are into automatics, now you understand why I recommend that 86. And there are other cars. I mean, it's not just hatchback. We have vans, we have SUVs. So they are all there, 807, 806, 3008, 5008, 2008. I mean, 4007, 4008. They are there, out there. So you understand. Yeah. Okay, so I hope I've covered everything that I need to. So I'm not telling you don't use if your car, if you are driving Peugeot 206, that is not good. No, that's not what I'm saying. It will still serve you, but for the 206 as well, the suspension not as good as you can't even compare it with the 406. Not at all. The suspension is not good at all. It's not a rugged suspension. So at least Peugeot 307 suspension is much better than that of Peugeot 206. So that's where I'm coming. So I know what I'm saying when I say if you want a car that will serve you like 406, this will do. That's my point. 607 will serve you like 406. However, the V6 one will not in terms of the suspension. But every other one will say that the suspension you won't enjoy, you won't find it fun over time if you use it ruggedly like Peugeot 406. But if you have a Peugeot 607 4-cylinder engines, yeah, you will, it's almost like you are driving a Peugeot 406, or the cost of maintenance, it will really be a big deal, you know. So that's the point. I mean, for this 508, it's just, another, they try to make it close to 406, you know. There was more like a gap, even though the 407 replaced 406, but there was a small gap. So the started 508 tried to bring back that 406 a little, but still, 406 is much better in terms of so many things. 508 is also much better than 406 in many areas, but in terms of rigidity, ruggedness, or dependability, the 406 has an edge on the 508. So if you want something newer than 406, also I recommend 508. Of course, the newer model, the recent one, I don't know much about it, so I won't comment on that. So I only know the one I know that I've driven, repaired, diagnosed, so I know a lot how, the issues that usually come up there, compared to the 406 and all the other vehicles. And I know the ones that I want people should avoid if you don't want to have a headache during the ownership. I'm talking about Peugeot 508. Some of them, some models, I tell you, walk away, run. Unless you are ready to spend some money in putting it, replacing some of the things that are known for issues on those models, for you to now enjoy them. So okay, if there's any other thing, maybe I'll do another part of the video. So for now, that's all.